Hi everyone, SoulSilver17 here. Let me feel huge way to not own the picture, non-pay video. Alright, okay. Oh yeah, don't own the thumbnail. I think I already said that, but just in case. So, I'm charging my phone, and I'm making a video. Don't know how it's gonna affect it. Hopefully it doesn't corrupt this. Anyways. Yeah, and then, near the end of the video, I was getting tired of part 14. So, yeah, hopefully I don't get exactly the same way like last time. I should not be tired. I'm fully awake. And, I do have like 2 hours or so until, I need to go for work tonight. Because I'm going to be posting this video, well, part 13 on Friday. Basically morning, afternoon, whenever I wake up. I'm posting part 13. Saturday I'm posting part 14, which is this video. And I think I'm going to do like part 15 just until Apollo, and then go back to like some other what ifs. Like Ruby, Deku, I think, maybe. I don't know. I just decided to make a video when I feel like. But yeah. So, let's get this thing started. Just a quick recap. Met a few people. Chizuka, basically, from Takamichi Kagasuchi Familia. Yeah. Man, this name is really hard to say, actually. Chigusa? Something like that. And then there's, basically Oka, there's Makoto, Chizuka, and Oka. So, the one that basically was injured, that they had to run away past Bell and past the monsters, too. Yeah, that girl that was injured, met basically Tsubaki, who's part of the Hestia familia briefly, and also had that brief moment with Hephaestus and Hestia, the whole entire kissing and making their moves. Reasons why I did it, I think it would be about time that would happen. Because one, they know that basically the harem is going to happen to me. Two, I'm essentially immortal. And three, basically, this, they knew me a lot, and basically there's, so, yeah. But I did think it would be a good idea to have them think about it. I don't know if I actually, animate those two a part of it, but if it's actually going to happen, then so what? It's going to happen, maybe or not. So, anyways, let's get this thing started. Yeah, let's get this thing started. I'm gonna go into the Eye story and kind of have more interaction with them, with the whole entire Loki familia for a bit. For maybe like this couple parts, but yeah. So, I made a staff, and I named it Emma because I thought of the Monkey King Sun Wukong staff. And besides, Emma from Naruto which I don't own nothing of Sun Wukong or, Naruto, or the characters, or the names. But I thought Emma will be basically a good name for it, since it kind of references it. So yeah, anyways. Basically, and now I have the Gates of Babylon due to an unknown deity, which you all know who it is, probably. But yeah. So yeah, this is part 14. So, I basically have been passed out, and where am I is very simple. I'm in my subconscious, which I'm like, why? Wait. Oh, I'm back here with the gates. I look around, I see Bloodborne, Code Vein, Sekiro, Liza P. The whole entire basically Souls games that I know of. And so, I do see basically Artorias in his wolf form, in which he comes over to me and starts, and he licks my face, which I just pet him. But then I see someone come out of the Code Vein. I do have to basically make sure I got the name right, so give me a minute. Okay, anyways, as I see basically the queen comes out of the Code Vein gate. And when I see her, I'm basically just have a soft smile. I'm like, hey. She basically is looking at me and says, so, you like the gifts? I just chuckle. I'm like, yeah. I do. Thanks for the blood beats. She will basically have a smile. He goes, it's no problem. So, you have any questions? As she sits down and basically the fire, we hear the fire crackling in the background. Like, yeah. Since you're here, doesn't that technically make me a vessel? I just kind of started thinking about that. Well, just now, actually. Which she basically would think about. She goes, not in particularly, which I tilt my head to the side. She goes, you're a vessel because, well, you're a revenant. But since most revenants, well, can always come back, you're different though. Which I just blink. Like, how different? She just basically would just nod and understand. She goes, I figured it would be basically quite simple. You're the very first remnant, so technically, you're the king here. If you really think about it. Wait, doesn't that mean I can make someone else a revenant? She goes, yep, but you have to basically want it. And it's not by the whole biting people on the neck. You know, the how revenants are born, it goes like parasitic creature that basically turns you into it. She goes, yeah, that. Or you could be wrong with that, which I just shrugged like, hey, I was more focused on the gameplay and the story and progressing my character than basically how the revenants were really created. Besides, I have bad memories. Well, I have a bad memory sometimes, so can't really blame me on that one. She will basically just look at me and then just, well, have a small smirk. She goes, anyways, but if you're thinking about it, you do have basically miasma around you, but that's more in tune with, well, the God Arc. Where I just blink. I'm like, huh? Where she does sigh, goes, well, since basically COVID is connected to God Eater, as you already know, since you met, well, Louis, and basically Lindau, you basically are a God Eater. Your basically God Arc will change you slightly, but not by much. So you don't have to worry. Which she basically look at me and goes, anyways, I think you should take your God Arc, and basically, I would say try to upgrade it, but you don't have the materials for it. Which I'm thinking, actually, I do. She blinked, she goes, well, I had the materials for the abomination. Where she does basically thinks about it and goes, that should work since it wasn't origami. Yeah, it should. And you can basically use the rest of the the origami core then. Oh, also, nice job of making the basically bow staff. It actually is still a God Arc. Which I'm just blinking, I'm like, wait, what? It actually is a God Arc? How the... Oh yeah, God Eater materials. Yes. Good job in creating a bow staff. That can devour every time it strikes something. But if you use that, technically your body will basically be destroyed. Just, yeah, you have to have the Oracle cells in you, and you don't have it, per se, so if you want to use your bow staff, you have to basically, use your God Arc. I just sigh, I'm like, why? Why? She just chuckles and basically, she basically kind of basically shuffles her way towards me, and I'm just looking down, she just pats my head, just, there, everything be okay. I'm like, that ain't helping. Where she just laughs, so then I start laughing. And then she looks at me, she goes, also, I like your new look. Your facial features basically became way more defined. Sharper a little bit, too. I'm like, oh, great. So a spirit in my head basically is falling in love with me, as I joke. She goes, no, just complimenting you. Now go. As she basically pokes my head, I start, coming back to consciousness. As Artorias looks at her and she basically says, what? And basically, it just rolls its eyes and goes over back to the fire and lays down. Which, basically, Cruz would just sigh and just be like, I wonder if he remembers my name. Which Hattori says, yes, he does. Which she basically blinks, she goes, good. She basically goes back into the code vein gate. So, as I'm slowly opening my eyes, I feel someone basically stroking my hair as I basically blink and I look at Hephaestus, who still has her eye patch off. She goes, so, how's your little nap? And I'm like, sorry about that. Overwhelmed with that. Basically, though, she goes, so, you don't mind my... I'm like, nope. I don't mind it at all. You still look beautiful the way you are, Hephaestus. Because I have a soft smile on my face, and her face is blushing. She goes, how can you just say something like that to... As I just shrug, like, well... Because... I mean, why should I judge you for the way you look? Look at me. I'm someone who's basically an undead creature that basically drinks blood. Which, by the way, you know you kissed me after I drank your blood, right? Well, make out with me, actually. She just realizes then, she goes, well, I didn't taste it. And besides, I was too much focusing on, well, you. Which I just basically pause and think about. I'm like, fair enough. I just kind of realize I'm starting to laugh as I get up, and then, so basically I just stretch. I'm like, well, I found out something very interesting. She just goes, which Professor goes like what? Technically, I'm the Revenant King. Even though there's a queen named Cruz Silva, but she's technically dead because of my MC killed her, and basically usually there's vessels of the queen, so it's really hard to tell. And Hephaestus will nod to that. She goes, well, as she basically she looks for her eye patch and it was on the floor. She grabs it and puts it back on over that eye. That's, well, her left eye. She looks at me and just says, well, that's good to know. Also, I'm going to talk to Hestia about this, and we're going to, talk. I just nod, and basically I just look at her and goes like, but still, well, she basically looks at me, she goes, like I said, I'll take care of it. Also, what's a Hokage and ninja? I understand. Oh, a Hokage is the leader of a village. Why? She goes, you said that when you were in your trance-like state to the person that gave you the gates of Babylon. Which I'm like, oh. Well, I was probably subconsciously thinking of Enma, which the name is derived for Enma, basically the Monkey King of the summoning contract from Naruto. Again, I don't own Naruto, the names or the concepts of it, basically. But back to the story. She goes, summoning? Goes, animal summonings that basically ninjas use chakra that basically are spiritual and physical energy that they basically use to, well, in a certain type of hand sign seals that basically after completing a hand sign that makes a jutsu. The summoning jutsu is what happens after you summon, well, after you sign a summoning contract, which is basically the animal, which Enma is the Monkey King, which is the leader of the basically monkey clan of summons. Hold up. Sorry about that, everyone. My dad just asked me to do something. So, where was I left off? Hokage. Oh, yeah, talking about the summoning contract. So, and then we said about Emma and stuff, which she basically blinks and she goes, so, why? Okay, I get with that whole entire Emma name, but specifically, why? He goes, oh, because Emma had a transformation to become a adamantium unbreakable staff that could extend and basically expand, like Sun Wukong himself. Monkey King, the warrior Buddha. She goes, wait, seriously? Yes. Huh. She was just say, I didn't know basically, wait, first off, you know really about Sun Wukong. I'm like, yeah, just don't know if he's in this dimension. Well, sort of. Legends spoke of him, but he's not around here. It's like disappeared all of a sudden. Just saying this just in case, because to be fair, they have Loki, they have Hephaestus, they have other pantheon gods running around with each other. So why not also Sun Wukong? But make it where they don't know where he is anymore. He's just completely gone. So yeah. Anyways, I'm just like, seriously? He existed here? She goes, yes. Uh, damn. If I knew he existed here, I would be very hyped up. She goes, why? Why would you be hyped? To fight him. She goes, to fight him? Yes. Boys. I'm like, oh, come on. Fighting basically being such as him, who has so much power, you don't even know how he basically can even be defeated. You have to be, if you basically come from where my dimension is, where there are no gods, Sun Wukong himself is one of the strongest fictional characters, basically that cannot be defeated by most basically beings besides anime or other video game characters such as Kratos, who's you don't need to worry about it. She goes, what are you about to say? And I don't need to worry about it. It was like, yeah, if I basically start talking about this, it's gonna take forever. So I'll tell you about it next time, because I'm thinking about trying to make the Blades of Chaos. The Blades of what? I never even heard of them. A video game, Hephaestus video games. Oh, so another video game like, Souls, the Souls games, Yeah. She puts a thumbs up. She goes, anyways, what's your plans, since everything's done? As all of a sudden, when I basically think of my god arc, Cerberus, a gold portal basically opens up basically on the floor as the basically case where Cerberus is formed rises up. As I open it, when Hephaestus sees the god arc, she basically blinks and she goes, yeah, I'm glad those people are gonna come from the God Eater world, hopefully soon, because if this breaks, I can't fix it. Or, well, if it has any malfunction, since when I know of it so far, you can transform it into a gun, then back into the weapon. But there's 3 different games, so where's this from? God Eater Resurrection. Basically, I just touched the God Arc blade, as I just say, this one is my favorite weapon out of it. It may not be the strongest or the final weapon, but this helped me throughout after I got through a lot of difficult challenges with it within the game. So, yeah, this is my favorite weapon. Also, I like the design of it. When you look at it with a critical eye, you can tell it's sharp. Very sharp. And that it may actually be able to take down up to maybe 450. She basically tells me what her thoughts is. She goes, well, just by looking at it, this could be technically get you down to level 50 of the floors. But after that, who knows? Which I nod, but I do say this. That would be normal. Well, that would be true if this was the normal world danmachi. Without me being here. The monsters are basically getting stronger, so this weapon may only get me down to at least 430. 37? Which, she basically, look at me, because now I'm thinking, I have that thinking face, as she goes, what you basically have, well, what's that look on your face for? I'm like, remember how I said about the whole entire, duffel bag full that we used all basically just to make the staff? She goes, yeah. I still have some more origami parts. She goes, wait, what? Seriously? Yeah. She goes, the abomination. Because she was asked, from what? I'm like, and she goes, oh. As basically I pulled them out, and then basically I put the core in front of basically the God Arc. So, is this enough materials? And she looks at it, and as she looks at the God Arc and look at it, and basically she will basically close her eyes and think about it, and then she will nod. She goes, this should be enough. The basically origami, basically claws and fangs, and a couple of the armor fragments. Plus, basically the core was the most key thing. By the way, it was correction on the like 100, 110, like one, that 15,000. It was only 10,000 for the blaze claw. I'm like, oh, do I need souls for this? She goes, not really. Just have to use my godly powers a bit, and well, you just basically control the flames, and we just put them in the flame while you basically hold your God Arc right over it. That's it. Yep, it should upgrade it then. So, you ready for that? Which I just shrugged, like, yeah, but this is gonna be a freaking pain. Just why? Since I have to hold it, I haven't basically touched it yet. And she goes, is that a problem? And I'm like, yeah, since I don't have the armlet, basically, that would help basically me contain my oracle cells. This may actually turn my arm completely origami-like. So, let's hope for the best. As basically she goes, wait, don't. As basically I just grab it. All of a sudden, basically black-like ooze pops up out of my arm as it travels upwards. As the Elden Beast comes out of my arm, but it starts starts to move around my arm as I'm, basically clenching my fist and, biting my lip and not trying to scream. As then all of a sudden, basically I see basically my arm was changing, but when it gets to my wrist, it basically was about to go further, but then the mark on the tattoo basically glows as basically it stops, as then basically my whole entire hand starts to change. Basically, it basically goes from tan to charcoal black, as then basically white plates are basically starting to form on my hand, all around it. Basically the palm of my hand, based on the back of it, on the knuckles, basically on my fingers, and my nails get a little bit longer. So after basically all that excruciating pain stops, as the Elden Beast says, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, little buddy." Thanks. It nods and basically goes back into the mark as Hephaestus, comes over, gets up, not gets up, just moves towards me, is holding me and saying, "Are you a stupid? Are you hurt? Are you fine? Are you? How can you be an idiot without thinking of this?" And then she goes back into worrying and saying, "Do I need to call someone? Do I need to get any healing potions, essence flask?" Just like, is that basically just blinking? I'm like, Festus. She goes, huh? Like, you're panicking. She goes, sorry, just, you were, and as I can just sigh, I'm like, I know, and before anything else, there's basically a bang on the door saying, "God, it's Festus, are you okay?" Which, that basically Pacific noise is, well, basically the one person I met earlier, which I'm like, oh crap, Sabaki. She basically Festus says, "Sabaki, everything's," as she kicks open the door. As what she sees is Festus is holding my shoulders, as now my hand's different, and now she's seeing a weird weapon in my hand. In which, though, she's most focused on the weapon because it's unusual, she's never seen it before, and she wants to basically now wield it. She goes, "What's that?" I'm like, "A God Arc." "What's a god arc? A weapon?" She goes, "Can I use it?" "No." She goes, "Huh? Why?" He goes like, "I literally let go of it by shoulder my. Well, I'm holding it basically. I shoulder my hand. You would turn into an origami, a creature that I would have to kill. So no." She goes, what? What? How? I'm like, not explaining it to you. When she sighed, she goes, "First off, fix my door, Sabaki. Secondly, after fixing it, close it, lock it, and I'll explain everything after we upgrade this weapon." She goes, sure. And now she's just totally confused as Hephaestus says, looks at me and goes like, "Well, let's start," which I nod. Though I'm thinking, how am I able... So Magic's gonna work with this and, basically merge them together, right? Upgrading the weapon. She goes, "Yes. Since basically you have your soul system, the weapon will be at +1. You basically, after that, all you need is basically parts of monsters plus origami parts. That's all." I'm like, "But the more rarity," she goes, "Yeah. The more rarity it is, it'll basically will help it upgrade." Which I'm not understanding. In which Tsubaki does not understand what's going on. So, while she's fixing the door, we were say upgrading basically Cerberus. As this will not take much time and not requires any souls, so what happens is very simple. A few minutes pass, Cerberus is upgraded to +1. Now, as Tsubaki did fix the door and locking it, just explanation please. In which I would just tell Hephaestus, I'm gonna ship this short, sweet, and straight to the point version. If you want to tell the rest, it's okay with me. She goes, "Are you sure?" I just nod. She goes, "Besides, she needs to understand what a god arc is." She would not understand it to that one. And I would just say this. I'm a person from another world. I can't die. I'm essentially immortal. And basically, I have, a weapon that basically is from one of the worlds that one of the world's weapons that basically that share with another world that I know of. So yeah, which Sabaki's just blinking. She goes, which Hephaestus just has a deadpan look and says, that made it short, sweet, to the point, but a lot of no context there." I'm like I said, I'm just gonna say basically what she needs to know, and you can basically tell her the rest if you want. Besides, I'm gonna get going. Also, got a glove? She basically looks at my hand and looks at me. She goes, "You're gonna have to basically fix those nails then." I'm like, "Yeah, hold up, let me try something." Basically, I think it was just I think of my hand and the nails shrinking back to normal. As they would go back to normal, but it'll be a little bit, it won't be like basically a few minutes before they do that. As I'm just sighing, I'm like, "Oh, that's good to know." She would nod, but she basically would just give me a glove and say this: "I'm gonna have to make sure I make something for you for your hand now. Just wear that for the meantime. Also, make sure basically go to Hestia to get, see about your gift." I would not. I'm like, "Again, thanks, Hephaestus. And think about it, alright?" She goes, "I will. Don't remind me. Now go. I don't get in no trouble now." I'm like, as I already said yesterday, what type of trouble I get into? I walk to his door, open it, and leave as Sabaki looks at her, and Hephaestus looks back at Sabaki. And she says, "I have a lot to explain, do I?" And Sabaki nods. So, give me a minute real quick. Alright, so, as I am walking to where Hestia is, because I kind of basically realize, now that I basically have oracle cells within me, my revenant not features, but my revenant senses are a little bit more enhanced. I'm a lot more stronger, I can feel it, and I'm a lot more faster too. I don't know how I know this, but I know that specifically, along with my endurances, or well, my durability is up even higher now. So, basically, though, I'm basically thinking, and I basically asked Biru, "Hey, Biru, did my stats go up?" And Biru was saying, "No, it's your physical body. Even though your stats affect your physical body, in a sense, with well, the fauna of the danmachi system, this is basically from the soul system, yet still, both systems are not affected by this new outcome, since this is a foreign gain to them, even though Code Vein and Gaudi are share the same world. As I would basically come to understand that, and basically I would say in my head, so, that means even though they're from the same world, they have different systems, and now, since basically they are combined together, I am technically not affected by with the oracle cells of the basic revenants, basically powers or abilities in a sense. It's just added on to everything else that I have, but it's all passive, not basically stats changing wise. She goes, "Yes, good job, my liege." I'm like, thanks. I honestly thought that would just be a dumb thing to say, but, well, me, and all this, never know. And now I can use my bow staff easily, but basically, well, I get the burst then. There's only one way I can tell if I basically go down to the dungeon and kill monsters, but I shouldn't basically do that. So, basically, I was thinking that while walking, and I will go to I think they're potatoes, but the stand that Hestia works at, potato something, I guess. I forgot the names of it. As Hestia was just saying, hot, whatever their names are, basically potatoes, things. Names are basically come get them while they're hot. Well, yeah, come get them while they're hot. And basically, Hestia basically will be serving a customer, which I was right behind. She hears me, she goes, "Welcome, what type of soul? Why are you here?" I'm like, I have my right hand in my pocket with my left arm being wrapped up in my shirt covering most of my left arm. I'm like, "We have a problem." She goes, "Huh?" I say, "Hold my hand," and basically I have a glove, so that Festus basically what gave me. If I didn't mention that, I meant to mention it, but I probably forgot to. So yeah, no, Festus gave me a glove, just in case. I'm mentioning it now. Which Pedro was like, "Huh? What's wrong with your hand?" I'm like, "That's one thing that's a problem. Another thing is, well, grab my unique weapon, and two, a gift." Which basically, before she can even say anything, Hestia, like I said before, Hestia can even say anything. All of a sudden, basically, someone says to her, "Hey, Hestia, it's break time." Which basically, he looks at me, goes like, and then looks at her, goes like, "Is this someone you know?" She goes, "Yes, this is one of my children, of my familia." Which he goes like, "Oh, what do you need Hestia for?" Just curious. He goes like, explain to her some stuff. "Is that a problem?" I said, "Nah, no." I'm like, "Cool. Hey, wanna go to basically the tavern where Mamma Mia, Seer, Ryu, and the other two basically members are?" Which, yeah, the other two members are, which she does nod. Because now she's curious. So, what happens is very simple. We go over there for the lunch, but I asked basically Mamma Mia, basically we can use the room upstairs. By the way, I will explain some things to Hestia on the way there, about my hand at least, and basically what I created with Hephaestus, and what, well, and not basically the whole entire Gates of Babylon yet. So, but Mamma Mia will ask, basically why, I'm like, first off, one of my gifts, a new one. Secondly, I have to explain some stuff that's very, uh, sensitive. Which Mamma Mia would basically look at me and she would sigh and just nod. She goes, just don't make this a habit, alright? I'm like, I'll pay extra, I promise. She basically would look at me and just nod. She goes, you better. I'm running a business, not a charity. Got it? I would nod. So, give me a minute. So basically, though, I do order the food and just ask, her to bring it. Someone can bring it up if they want to, or just someone can just knock on the door and we will just come eat. Which Mamma Mia will nod. So we basically go upstairs, but Ryu will ask, Mamma Mia, I don't mind bringing up the food for them. Besides, I have some questions for Mr. Soul. Well, Mr. Kurosaki. Is that alright? Which basically Mamma Mia will look at her and she goes, are you sure, Ryu? Which she does not. Which Mamma Mia would just basically understand and just says, just don't make it, well, too problematic, alright? Which, again, she will nod. And basically, hold up, I just realized something real quick. Okay, as I was saying, so we'll basically go to where me and Hestia are in the room. She basically would, well, she would basically tell me to basically remove my shirt and lay on basically the bed, which I would do so. So, she basically will ask, let me guess, this is from Hephaestus? And I realize your looks are different, way different. And I bet everyone, because I noticed every, female was staring at you a bit. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things I was going to talk about. She basically nods. She goes, also, she basically, she's updating my, stats a bit. Well, somewhat my stats, but mostly just see my gift is there. She goes, you have basically a gift called Ultimate Craftsman. This will allow you to basically work on anything that involves with craft, anything that's a craft. Like woodworking, blacksmithing, metalworking too. Sewing. Wow. Lucky skill. Which I'm like, cool. So this can help me with my blacksmithing more. She goes, yes. Along with basically your mysterious skill and your basically skill stat in general. Well, it's your skill stat mostly, but this mysterious skill for some reason, I really don't know. Which I just shrug. I'm like, hey, we'll never find out. For now, at least. We gotta find out later. She goes, I know, but still, this is really annoying. I think the mystery skill is always supposed to basically change to basically a unique one when it's time, or when you're ready. I don't know. Which I says, again, I'm not worried about it. So, can you basically get off my back so I can put on my shirt and we can talk now? She basically goes, yeah, sorry, just thinking. Besides, basically, no, she will lean down, basically, and trying to hug me, but, can't. Which, she'll basically whisper in my ear. She goes, don't you like this? I just sigh. I'm like, I know you're flirting, but not the time. She goes, huh? I found out some stuff that I need to tell you. Which you can tell, though, I'm being serious, and she will immediately get off and basically be just waiting for me, to put on my shirt so I basically can sit down in the bed, too. Well, I don't basically sit down on the edge of it. I basically cross my legs and she's looking at me. She goes, you have my attention. I just nod. So, I'll ask her, you know anything about spirits of the old heroes? She basically blinks and she nods. I'm like, well, as soon as I tell her what has basically Loki Familia been doing, from the knowledge I gained, she just blinks and she goes, and on the 59th floor they found a corrupt spirit. I'm like, yep. And that is one thing basically I need to worry about now, along with the new species, and those plant-like monsters. Well, the monster, technically man-eating plants I would like to call them, but Which she would not. She was, yeah, I heard a few things, but I can't believe it. I'm like, yeah, I know. Especially on a certain floor, there should be basically an area where monsters would gather around and drink the water out of. But that's basically ruined there. Well, that place is ruined. So, I wonder how the guild is going to be handling that. Which, basically, she would nod. She was, so where are the Loki Familia now? They're in basically a port town called, wait a minute. Yeah, they're in the port town Marine, where the god, basically NJ, so Jorn, basically is there. The fisherman. Which she basically blinks, she goes, huh, why is that? Well, one, investigation of basically the Leviathan, basically, seal. And two, investigation. She basically blinks, she goes, alright. But why are you basically telling me this? I'm like, well, I can't go into the dungeon. And basically there are some things I want to do there. I also want to basically, ask Loki a few questions about this now. Which she gets a little bit serious. She goes, why? He goes, Belle. She basically blinks and says, then I would tell her basically though, on how I got my look. While we were walking, everything came back to me when I was in my trance-like state, basically. Yeah, she goes, so, even you want to be a hero at one point. I'm like, my face is red. I'm like, hey, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a hero. She goes, but that basically spark to want to be one is there again, huh? I'm like, no, it's not. It's just, you can't lie to me. I'm like, damn. Yes, it is. It is there, okay? Is that a problem that I want to try to be a hero here? She basically would just, not chuckle, but have a soft smile and shake her head. No, it's not a problem. But, isn't Belle supposed to be, yeah, I know. But then she basically comes to understand, you would take up his burden, wouldn't you? I just basically looks away and just say yes. She goes, why? He goes, well, since I'm here and all, and basically Belle can't handle it, then I don't want him to basically continue to suffer. At least I can hold out for him long enough for him to basically get strong enough to, catch up to my level at least. It's the least I can do for him. You know? Which Hestia would just look at me and, see the conviction in my eyes, and she does not say anything, but she would basically grab my hand and nod. She goes, but I need to know about this Scale Gates of Babylon. It wasn't there, but, but I'm like, what do you mean it wasn't there? She goes, I was about to finish that. I'm like, sorry. She goes, it wasn't there based on when I was updating, but it appeared basically anyways. And I'm like, huh. So, hold up, I need to write it down, actually, I forgot to. Okay, anyways. She goes, yeah, but then all of a sudden the door basically is knocked, and it's Ryo's voice. She goes, Mr. basically Kurosaki, Goddess Hestia, can I enter? Which Hestia says, come on in, as she brings up the food and such. As I'm like, oh, hi Ryu. She would nod. And she goes, I have a few questions. I'm like, my looks? She goes, yes. I just sigh. I'm like, alright. So, even though we basically got the food, she asked, how do your looks change all of a sudden? In which, I just say this. To be honest, some unknown entity basically gave me a book. Well, first off, Lantos gave me a book for spells. Then all of a sudden, next thing you know, this unknown entity is using the book and ta-da! Gain new magical power. And she goes, like what? As all of a sudden, boom, a katana appears out of the gate of Babylon, as they say, put it back in. Yeah. She goes, uh-huh. How's that even possible? I'm like, remember when I said this world was anime slash manga? She does not. I'm like, yeah. As I explained the Fate series a bit, and the character Gilgamesh. She goes, wait, since you have the gates of Babylon, doesn't that make you the king of heroes here? Which I basically just was about to basically bite into my food, my last bit of food, and then I basically blink, put down my fork, put the basically food on the bed, and then just grab the pillow and scream into it. As that basically goes on for like a few seconds, I basically put down the pillow. I'm like, I'm fine. I am fine. I don't think it's just this world, maybe. I think whoever it is high on the food chain. And it doesn't. They have like some type of reality warp, and it doesn't really matter. Like, Jesus, freak. She's like, Ryu was like very confused, but even Hestia, I'm like, imagine they basically have reality warp, and they can literally make the weapons and put it inside the gates of Babylon, and I won't even know about it. And that makes when I basically look inside of it, or have all my weapons pop out of it, next thing you know, I have like a whole entire army's worth of weapons that are OP. She was OP, overpowered. Ryu was like, oh. I'm like, yeah. She goes, okay. I do have some more questions, but I won't ask them now. I'm like, thank you. So, after basically I finished off the last of the food, Hestia finished hers, Ryu would basically leave and bid us good day. So, as soon as we hear Ryu gone, I would basically look at Hestia, so Hestia would look at me. She goes, alright. Basically, you already gave the explanation of the gates of Babylon. I'm like, right. So, you go into basically Port Marine? I just nod. She goes, alright, just be careful. Remember, you're injured, and I just sigh. I'm like, I know. But, as basically I say I gotta show her this. As then basically I take off the glove and I show her my hand, her eyes widen, and basically hold up my hand to the side. As my blue flames are there, then I pour some magic power into basically, a little bit more magic power into the flames. As all of a sudden, it's not going basically black. Well, no. All of a sudden the flames turn black. As I'm like, this doesn't even hurt my hand. But as I can feel the heat, she goes, but I can still feel the heat from here. I'm like, I think this gave me heat resistance. Huh. Interesting. As I cut out the flame by crushing it. So, I look at her. I'm like, also, you're gonna have to talk to Hephaestus. She goes, why? As every time I get up, walk into the door, open it, and I just say, because she made out with me. Hestia blinks and she goes, she, what? Hephaestus made out with me. Kissed. And then she blinks. I'm like, bye, Hestia. Tell Belle I'll be back basically tomorrow. As I basically run off. Well, run down the stairs, basically pay for the meal, and basically I say, if you wonder why I still was screaming, 3, 2, 1, and then I basically hear, she did what? I'm like, yeah, I told her something that she's pissed off. Bye, Mamiya. Bye, Seer. Bye, Ryu. Bye, I say to the cat girls and to the staffs. Well, to the other staff girls. I just run out. As soon as I get jump out, as soon as my feet touch the ground, all of a sudden, I'm dashing away out of Oreo, basically, and there's leaving a blue streak throughout the whole entire city to the exit. As Freya was basically in the tower watching over, she saw that just run off into the distance. And she's basically like, huh? Well, no, Seer was there, so Seer basically was wondering where I went. I forgot. Freya and Seer is the exact same person, she can't be at two places at once. But basically, Otar was looking out to the distance, and he's like, huh? What's that? So yeah, basically, I'm running, and it would take probably a good while till I get to like the end of basically, well, to the sea, as I basically was just saying like, I did not even look up the map. Am I even going the right direction? Huh. Oh, and basically, Hades can actually still see where I go, so he basically just sighs, and basically, all of a sudden, because I stopped, I just hear something hit the ground as I look down, a map with a note on it. As I look, I'm like, here's a map that will tell you where you are, basically how far you are. Congratulations, you're welcome. Make you a mini map. Signed, Unknown Goddess. Unknown Goddess / God. P.S. Next time, grab a map. Which I just blink. I'm like, okay, I'm not mad at the Unknown Goddess or God for this. Or God or Goddess for this. Thank you. And then look, it basically shows I'm about 5,000 miles in the wrong direction. So basically I turned, and basically I see basically the map. On the map, that basically the icon where I am is also turning. And basically I'm like, so smirk. I'm like, here we go. As I just dash off into the direction. Now with the Loki Familia. The Loki Familia is doing their whole entire beach day thing, and with Loki doing basically her thing. But, because she orders Tiana to basically go out and basically investigate the seal. As what happened is, while basically they were looking at it, they saw a weird plant creature in the water, as it basically was swimming over to a ship. So the man-eating plant basically was about to basically, attack the person on it. But that person, does kill it. But I want to say this. So while basically Tiana are out at sea, and she meets basically who is basically on the ship, I'm going to say this though, I do arrive, but I arrive, and because I was basically trying to go towards the beach, and basically I just basically was looking at the map and I ran already into basically the city, the little port town, got to the beach, and basically I'm saying, here, as I look up and I see a group of basically people, I'm like, crap, as basically I'm trying to slow down as I see the people turn around. It's basically the Loki Familia, because I can tell with eyes, as I'm like, oh crap, my eyes, eyes is there, as I do jump over her, and she basically, I'm looking down, she's seeing me, and I do see a little bit of curiosity, a little bit of shock, and a hint of basically worry, as I say, I did land back on my feet, and I'm trying to stop. So I would stop right when I basically got into my feet, got into the water, basically. I'm like, okay, good landing. Rough start, rough basically slowing down. So, as every basically familiar member of the Loki Familia that's basically females looking at me, I'm like, hi, name's Solo Kurosaki, nice to meet you all. You probably know me from if you're on the expedition, and you were on the 18th floor. Give me a minute though, real quick. As basically, one person was like, hi. Which I see over, it's a black haired cat girl, basically, tell by the ears and the tail. And I'm like, hi. Have we met? She goes, oh, no, it's, me, Aki. I'm like, Aki? Oh, the level 4 adventurer. Which I basically, see in my head. And she goes, yeah, it's nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. And then I basically see, an elf girl there too. There's another person, which I'm like, so, what you guys doing here? We're all of a sudden here, someone goes like, well, if it isn't Sol Kurosaki, how did you get here? Which I turn around and I see it's Loki. Well, no, I'm not turning around. I mean, I look forward behind everyone. It's Loki. She's coming basically with someone else. A male, basically, well, I could tell was a god. I'm like, Ran here? She goes, Ran? Yeah? She goes, by yourself? Yes. How? Kind of curious. I'm like, I'll tell you later. Not in front of everyone. But I have the basically help from, as I use my eyes to point to eyes, as Loki does nod. So, I see basically the ship, and I see a dead monster. I'm like, wow. As I put my hands behind my head, I was like, that's a weird plant monster. How did it get out all the way to sea? In which basically Loki would shrug. So, she goes, well, since you're here, I want to talk to you about a few things. Is that alright? I'm like, sure. Also, I have a feeling basically I came here at a bad time, which I think to myself, no, I came here at a good time. I want to test out my shit. And also, I really want to basically put on my Revenant clothes and my clothes that I got basically from God Eater and Code Vein. I want to see if my suspicion's right. I may change. Basically, as I basically think that, because to be fair, I'm basically starting to think, if I basically have basically certain basically gear from a certain type of game, I will be able to change into basically that version of what I would be. So, in this sense, I'm thinking I could turn to my Code Vein character, my first playthrough of it. So, I want to see that. If that is true, then my personality may also change with basically a transformation. So, yeah. Anyways, as she says, well, see you, Jord. I don't know how to basically say if it's basically Norse pantheon. Yeah, the Norse basically name because of Nord. Yeah, it's just, so I'm just gonna call it, even though it's NJORD. So I'm just gonna call it Jord. Just the god of the sea, basically. Well, the god of blah. Yeah, the god of fishing. All right, from the Norse pantheon, like Odin, Loki, and Thor. So I would go with Loki, and we go away from her, familia. She basically, though, when we get good enough distance, turn around and she goes, "Okay, how do you really get here?" She crosses her arms. I'm like, well, I got the gift from. Okay, promise me you won't be mad. Promise. She goes, I's already explained everything to me. Like, so it's a gift, right? I'm like, yeah, but it changed. She goes, how so? Okay, first it was Night Tempest. But now it's Night of the Wind. She goes, wait, does that mean, yeah, since basically it's her basically skill is attuned with her, I basically could change it because it's not, custom for me. It would turn into something else, basically, and the properties of it change with me. So, her sense, she basically can increase her speed and, her tap power with it. But with me, I can, use it to increase my attacks the same way as she does, but with the added benefit of me being faster than than the wind itself. Heck, they even go faster than the speed of sound, which that moves at 750 miles an hour, I believe. No, 775 miles an hour? Somewhere in that range. She just blinked. She goes, and you came all the way here, why? I'm like, well, the unknown god or goddess basically gave me all the knowledge of what's happening with your familia. So, I kind of wanted to basically not step in, but want to be here. And warned you. Just warn me? Why? Well, the Ishtar familia is going to be working with with the Kali familia, the Amazonian women. Well, the other one, the one that basically kill their own kin. Which, basically, I see basically Loki does have a small smile on her face. She goes, so you came all the way here to tell me? But to tell me and everything, I'm like, yeah. Also, tell you any information I know of that you don't know. She goes, really? And I just nod. Also, kind of basically want to see something. She was like, what? Well, I'm actually curious all this time. What type of gift would I get if I drink your blood? Which she blinks and she has a slight smirk. She goes, really? Yeah, would it be a trickster gift? Where I can make illusions and fake things? Like, even be able to switch places with myself with a snap of my finger, and just all of a sudden, basically, it's like a wooden log? Basically, I'm a trickster then. You know, I basically make jokes, or basically I can make anything I think is funny. Or, well, I have a certain skill sets with it. You know, that sort of thing. She basically just blinks, and I do think she'll actually kind of chuckle. She goes, well, maybe. Let me think about it, though. Since you're here basically to help me and gave this information, I want to know, well, I know you know some more stuff. Which I just saw, I'm like, yeah. They have a fox demi-human, or fox girl, on their side that could increase their power. Which her eyes blink, well, she blinks and everything. She goes, then she gets a little bit serious. She goes, can she affect a group of people? I just not know. The only one I know is she can only affect one person. In which she nods in understanding. She goes, what does it do? It increases their stats to be if they're level 5 to be level 6. So, as she basically, would just smile, she goes, okay. Yeah, I'll give you basically that. And a little bit extra. She basically, though, asked me, but I have a feeling you're about to ask me something. It was, and I go like, yeah. Can you not basically go after her? She goes, huh? Why? Okay, just don't tell no one of your familia. Which, she nods, but she basically sees Aki, basically, eyes. And the elf girl basically there, basically behind a rock, listening. And she goes, but I don't even know this because I'm just focusing on Loki. She goes, alright. I just saw, basically, I'm like, okay, so here we go. And then I kind of explained to her basically about danmachi and what I know basically about Bell and the MC that he is, and the story so far that's happening, the story that will come. Well, yeah, and the story that basically will come, and Bell has to be a part of it, but since I'm here now, I also have to be a part of some of his story. And that's it. She goes, so, she'll join the Familia, and you want her to basically still join, because Hestia will treat her basically not like a tool, or basically as something to kill, right? As I nod. Which Loki would think about. She goes, alright, I could do that. I'll just tell Eyes basically not to attack her. And I'll even basically tell, basically, oh yeah, the guys will come here when you guys need them the most. Aki and that other girl with glasses will get them. She just smirks and just nods. She goes, "Thanks for that. Also, question. What do you think of I since you drank her blood?" I'm like, well, I didn't want to. I honestly didn't want to even drink blood that day, but I ignored. Never mind. She basically gets serious. She goes, "You ignored basically your thirst?" I go, yeah, I got in the middle of the fight with Goliath. She goes, You fought Goliath, and you were basically going down to the 18th floor. It was, yeah. I just want to be 100% sure. You killed Goliath by yourself? Yes? Is that a problem? And you're only level 2. Yeah. Not level 3. Nope. That's like an easy job for me, actually, by now. She goes, just. Okay. Yeah, I should have realized that would. But you ignored it during the fight to. Why? Save Hestia. Goliath was going to attack her, so I had no choice. Goliath did change on fire, though. And, well, I created my rebellion sword with it, so. She would nod. And then basically she looks at me. She goes, "Now, though. Question. Huh? Did you enjoy basically biting Ai's neck?" I'm like, no. I mean, her blood tasted sweet. She basically smirks, and I'm like, "I'm not gonna say anything, you perverted goddess." She goes, you're mean. Besides, I would have normally killed you if you basically doing that, but you have no choice since you're hunger. I do have blood beads, though. But, at the time I didn't have them. She goes, "Really?" Yeah. So I told her about the code vein, Lewis and, Louis and basically Lindau coming over, giving me materials and such, and basically the weapons I created with the help of Hephaestus. She does nod. She goes, "Anyways, get going exploring the town. You're gonna be here basically for a couple of days, right?" "Yeah." That help out. She goes, "Well, I'll have basically everything, my decision by tonight. But, would you like me to bring other people into it?" Which I'm like, if you want. It's their choice in the matter, not mine. As I will be like turning around and walking away. And, basically, when I'm walking away, Loki says, "Oh, and Soul," which I look back at her. She goes, "Tell me about basically your adventures in the dungeon. And a little bit about your world. I'm interested." "Okay?" I'm like, yeah, Loki. I'll tell ya. And so I basically, walk away. But Loki distracted me enough to make me get into, thinking about, who would she bring. As in, basically, I did not notice basically Eyes, Aki, and the elf girl. As basically Loki says, "Girls, you can come out now." As basically come out of the rock as Aki and basically the elf girl. I did not basically take a screenshot of her name or wrote it down. The reason why I know Aki's name is because of one, I thought it was from a fanfic, and to actually find out basically Aki's basically name is just shortened, and basically from the manga for of the I forgot the name of the manga, but it's basically a story where Eyes and Loki, Eyes' story and everything, and Loki characters. So yeah. So basically, just Aki and the elf girl would just be blinking and looking at Loki. She goes, "Goddess Loki?" Aki would ask, where she goes, "Yes, Aki." "Was everything he said true?" "Yes. Everything he said is true. And to think now, he basically told me, well, what basically is going to happen a bit in the future. I can't basically do nothing like this for Hestia, but only for him. I'm interested to see how things will change now because he's here. Which eyes were just looking where I'm walking, and basically she goes, so his gifts were basically my Aerial Tempest, or Tempest Aerial, changed into something even better. He goes, it seems like it, but it seems like it's from his mind, his experience of the past, of what he thought it would be. Something in an inner desire came about for it to change. Don't worry about it, Eyes. You don't have to basically worry if he's better than you. But basically, Aki, the elf girl, and Loki can see Eyes still looking basically over where I'm walking, and just basically Loki smirks. And she thinks to herself, unknowingly so, Kurosaki, you got Eyes to even be more interested in you. Now, now let's see if she actually will fall in love with you. Because if she does, I hate you for this. I'll hate myself because I actually allowed it. So, basically, I would basically get back to where the Loki family is. I see Tiana and Tiona. I'm like, oh, Tiona, hi. As I look over, but Tiona though is a little bit frustrated, but then when she sees me, she's blinking, and Tiona, it's like, so you're here. Wait, how did you get here? We're far away from basically Oreo. And I'm like, ran here. You've got a unique magic to allow me to move real quick. She goes, really? So cool. Hey, can you basically tell me something? And I'm like, sure. Ice told us when she came back to the Ice told us basically when she met up with us. We basically went to the tavern to eat before we came back, and she basically came back after talking to Loki. She said you did something to kill an unknown monster. Is that true? Everyone in the Loki familiar looking at me. I'm like, and I'm just looking at Tiana. I'm like, you're really curious, are you, Tiana? She does nod. Tiana's like, yeah. From Isaac's description, it's a monster basically should have not been able to easily defeat. Only a unique skill that you used. I'm like, yeah, last ditch. Wait, what? As I just picked it up, I'm like, thinking to myself, wait, Ice was there? But they said Ice, did I not pick it up? I'm an idiot. Which, yeah, Tiana was like, yeah, I saw everything. It's actually really amazing. I mean, you went right through fire. How you didn't burn? I'm like, well, let's just say that skill of mine allows me to ignore all damage. It's not great since it physically affects my body. It pushes me past my body's limits. And it allows me to ignore pain. So even if basically my arm is broken, I'll still use it. And all. That's all I can say much. Since that's the very first time I ever used it. Which, Tiana's like, wow, that's actually a really amazing skill. Is there any downsides to it? It has to be. As then Tiana just said, says to her sis to stop. Which she's like, aww. I'm like, but I do basically look around, like, so where are the guys? Which Tiana's like, Captain and the rest of them had to stay back. Loki wanted basically, this to be only girls' thing, but she's using an excuse saying she had to leave back some some of her children there at the guild. I'm like, right. Basically, I do look at Tiana and Tiona, and basically all the other girls, which I just kind of basically think, how did the gods know about bathing suits? Like, seriously, how? I just think Tiona would be basically like, hey, why are you looking at us like that for? I'm like, just wondering how the gods know about bathing suits. Which basically Tiona would just blink, and then Tiona's like, "Oh right, you know about these." I'm like, "Yeah." To be fair, was there a civilization before all, well, medieval times, or just medieval times? Because this is really, hmm. I really have so many questions now. Which Tino says, "I thought you were just checking us all out." I'm like, "Oh no. I mean, I can look and all, but I'm not gonna basically like stare at all of you like you guys are just something." I just shrug like. Also, I got way too much in my mind just to even think about that at the moment. She goes, "So if it was normal circumstances," Tiana asks with a little bit extra tone, which I'm like, still will only look and not really basically try to ask you guys out or try to bug you. Just do a simple glance around like I was just doing, but also trying to figure out how the gods even know about swimsuits. She goes, seriously? That's all you be trying to figure out? Mostly how to figure out how the gods know about swimsuits. Yes, very much so. Which all the females of the, basically Loki female just staring at me. I'm like, what? They just literally saw it once. That's the mostly you're focusing on? I'm like, yes, is that a problem? As basically Tiana would just laugh and she goes, "Wow, you're basically focusing on basically how the guys know about swimsuits instead of basically us girls." I'm like, I'm just looking at them. I'm like, to be fair, it's actually one of the things that basically you guys were probably wondering, but just so used to basically the gods know about it, and you're not even questioning it. I'm questioning it because I think someone has to at least. And also, don't you guys think it would be kind of creepy if I stare at all of you? Like, I have standards, you know. I only would do that to my girlfriend. In which they all just blink and just nod slowly to that. Which Tiana basically is like, "Huh?" And then Tiona is like, "Well, I didn't think it would give us that answer." I'm like, "Yeah." Anyways, I'm gonna go into that town and all. I'm gonna basically rent out a room or such. See you guys. And so I leave. Though in town, I'm just out of town. Above the town, I'm thinking, I'm gonna investigate inside of it and basically figure out anything I need. Also, it's not looking out towards the water. Well, look back. Well, no, I stop and look out towards the water. I just have a grin on my face. I'm thinking. Also, I want to see how that Leviathan is. I wonder if it's like the Final Fantasy Leviathan. If so, then, oh, I'm itching for a fight. And that's where I'm gonna leave it off, everyone. I'm gonna have to get going. So you guys have a nice day, night, wherever you are, and bye.